Hi, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us to this Conversation Without Borders. My name is Jeremy Love, immigration attorney, and today we're going to talk about the latest update with DACA and also how to hire an immigration attorney. I think it's a lot of great information that will be helpful, not just in immigration, but hiring other types of attorneys as well. And today we have with us our legal assistant, Maya Madden. Maya, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Well, thank you for joining us, everybody, and I hope that you enjoy this information we have, and please share it with anybody who you may who you think may find it helpful. Esta versión está en inglés. Vamos a hacer otra como las 2:30, una versión en español. So, Maya, what kind of questions are we receiving lately about DACA?
Yeah, so let's just jump into it. So, what is happening right now with DACA and the DREAM Act?
Well, with DACA, as you know, Trump ended DACA kind of late last year. And then there was been a couple federal court orders that have granted an injunction, which basically stops Trump from canceling DACA. And so people who have DACA or have had it previously can renew their DACA now, no matter when it expires. So that's the situation right now with DACA. And with the DREAM Act, we don't have any concrete proposals at the moment, unfortunately. So what I recommend as far as the DREAM Act goes is calling your local representatives and let them know that you support a DREAM Act.
Okay. So if I've never filed before, can I renew?
Unfortunately, no. Only people who can renew DACA right now, and that's Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, is people who have DACA currently or have had it in the past. And so I recommend if your DACA expires this year, I recommend go ahead and renew. It's possible if your DACA expires more than 5 months away, they could deny it for filing early, but that hasn't happened in most of the cases. So if your DACA expires next year, for example, you could renew. But I think it's more beneficial to those who expire sometime this year. And I'd recommend go ahead and file to renew your DACA.
Okay, so no initial, just
renewal. No, unfortunately, just renewals right now, or if you've had it before.
Okay, so what is the March 5th deadline?
That's a great question, and really the court order made that date irrelevant. The March 5th was the date that Trump said that anybody whose DACA expires before March 5th could renew as long as they did it by this past October. But because of the court injunction, that date doesn't mean anything because anybody can renew DACA no matter when it expires. So, unfortunately, what happened, though, with that date is politicians used it as a deadline to try to get a DREAM Act passed, which I understand, but it was a little bit confusing. So there is no March 5th deadline. That date is completely irrelevant.
Okay. So if mine has been expired for a while?
Yes. If your DACA has been expired for a while, even if it's been more than a year, you can file to obtain DACA. Now, if it's been expired for more than a year, you have to file as an initial application, which means you have to include all the proof again. But yes, you can still file for DACA as long as you've had DACA at some point in time in the past and you're still eligible.
But that's still different from an initial?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
As long as you've had it before.
Okay, so now about hiring an immigration attorney, I think I'm ready to do that. How do I do that?
Well, that's a great question, and so I want to give some recommendations on hiring an immigration attorney. One thing I recommend is talking to your friends and family or someone you know who has used an immigration attorney in a similar type case and ask them about their experience. Did the attorney seem knowledgeable? Were they helpful in the case? Were you able to talk to them directly? Those are some things that I think are helpful when trying to find an attorney, and I also recommend doing online research as well.
Okay, so that goes into my next question is how to find the best immigration attorney for my case.
Well, that's important. Remember, every case is different, so make sure you hire an immigration attorney who has experience in the type of case that you have. Now, I, for example, get asked all the time if I would handle someone's custody or divorce case, and you don't want me to hire, you want to hire me for your divorce case because I know nothing about those kinds of cases. But legally, I could handle a divorce case tomorrow if I wanted to, but I don't because I just do immigration. So what I recommend is finding someone who has experience in your type of case, and as well as someone who you believe is someone who will be there with you throughout the process, and someone that you find trustworthy. I think that's really important. When it comes to immigration, I do recommend hiring someone who either just practices immigration or focuses their practice primarily on immigration, because immigration law changes all the time, and it's hard to stay up to date if you're doing all these different types of cases. So that's a recommendation that I have. It's the same thing like in your home. If you have a plumbing issue, you want to call a plumber, not an electrician. You need someone who knows what they're doing in your type of case, because the wrong help could hurt, and it's harder after the fact when there are mistakes to correct an issue. And a mistake early on could affect your immigration application throughout the process or in a future process as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was going to ask you what the risks are. So what do I bring to my first appointment with my immigration attorney?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. So you really don't need to bring a lot, though, to your first consultation. If you've had a prior case, I would recommend bringing any immigration documents you have from your prior case. That's something that could be helpful. But in your first appointment, I think it's important to be aware of attorneys that guarantee something. If an attorney guarantees you a certain result, whether it be a green card or something else, I'd be a little bit wary about it, because you can never be 100% certain of what's going to happen in an interview or with an immigration officer. Now, what I recommend is doing your best job you can and hiring someone who has experience in these type of issues, so that you can increase your likelihood of success, but you can't guarantee a certain result, in my opinion. And even when it comes to hiring an attorney, you can look into if they have the experience before in that case, because it will increase your likelihood of success. And you can look on their website if they've done published articles, or if they've done videos that shows they're an expert on the type of case that you have.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then signing a contract, when should I do that?
Yeah, when it comes to signing a contract, one thing I recommend is don't just hire an attorney who is the cheapest attorney, or the attorney that's the most expensive attorney, because that's really not who you want to hire. You want to hire the attorney that you find is the best in your type of case. There's a saying in Spanish is lo barato sale caro, which means that what's cheapest can come out being more expensive in the end. So that's important to know as well, is hire the best attorney for you. And when you're ready to do that, then it is time to sign the contract. So when you're ready for the attorney to begin working on your case is when I recommend signing that contract. And make sure you understand the terms of the contract, because it lets you know what your rights and responsibilities are. And I think that's really important in that relationship with your attorney going forward.
Okay, great. Well, that answers my questions for today. We do have some upcoming events, appointment days. We will be in Huntsville on April the 11th, and we will also be in Montevallo on April the 19th. So if you want to make an appointment with us, please call us at our number.
It's 205-323-8727. You can also check out the website, loveimmigration.com. A lot of great information on there. And if you have any questions for us, please, you can add a comment right here on Facebook. Let us know what you want to hear about next time. We'll be back again soon, generally on a Wednesday, to talk about the latest immigration issues and what you want to know. And we can check real quick to see if we have any questions right now. We'd like to try to answer those live if we've got any questions. And let's see. Not yet. Okay. So we'll be right back with the Spanish version, but thank you so much for joining us. It was our pleasure to answer any questions with you, and I hope to see you soon.
Bye. Have a good day.